All right. Welcome back to Bring the Juice. We're at the at-home studio. That crispy little carbonation was a Red Wave Light Lager. We are sipping on some right now. They are delicious, and I'm not going to say nutritious, but I don't think they're too bad for you. They're damn hydrating, Stephen Comstock.
A lot of calories. It's good for you.
Good. Dad bod, baby. Just had the kid. Got to get it going. You know what I mean? Thank you. We got the Bring the Juice Tailgate Show in studio today. We're going to just chop it up, have a round circle discussion on a few things, mainly college football, a little bit of facing adversity of what it's like when you get kicked in the teeth and how to respond, and then just some other random crap, hey? So let's start.
We will lose more now than we will later, boys.
In the fall.
Yeah. It's fall, baby. Fall started. It's October. It's October.
We had a little rain today.
You just can't let it.
I had to put my windshield wipers on, which, by the way,
It's very refreshing.
My truck's dirty now.
I need to get some new blades. I had my head out the window on the way home. It's like, ooh. All right, let's start it off with a quick thing. And Steve, me and you were supposed to talk about this today. Army-Navy real quick, okay? One of the most iconic rivalries in sports. Argue with it whatever you want. It's patriotic. They are both undefeated right now.
I need them to go undefeated throughout the year.
Both of them.
I need
First time since 1945.
to ride out the year and then make it the biggest game in American history.
There's a scenario where Army and Navy both go undefeated. Okay, they're both in the American. Am I correct?
So here's the thing. The last time they were both undefeated to start the season, 1945. In 1945, we just won the Second World War.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
And Army also won a national championship that year.
That's fucking awesome.
Those boys play hard.
Bro, those guys, first of all, Army Navy, just attending the game as a fan is probably in my top 3 list that I at least want to do. It's a good, as a 27-year-old who wants to go to a game, that's a reachable goal. You know?
I also want to sit like right where the two fan bases meet.
All right.
Right where I want to be the middle row where the Navy cadets and the Army cadets meet, and I want to be right in the middle of that.
And you're like holding them back.
Fucking rowdy.
oh,
we play Air Force.
We know what it's about out there.
Do you remember?
insane.
Do you remember me getting heckled at Air Force?
Oh, Steve got abused by the
Yeah.
Zach Kinnegar got abused at Air Force as well.
I had Coach Tedford and Huge being like, do whatever they say to get them to shut up. Just get them to shut up. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what to do.
Okay, let me lay it out again. Army, Navy, both undefeated right now, both ranked right now, have the opportunity to play each other in their conference championship at the end of the year. And the next week, right after, it's the traditional Army-Navy game. So there's a chance where they go undefeated, play each other in a conference championship, and then have to play each other again the next week in the Army-Navy game.
And blood,
Now,
it's blood's on the
now,
line.
Historic.
Now, this is a 12-team playoff, okay? So
One of them gets in.
if they split it,
If they split it,
no
neither
one
of them gets
in.
in.
If they split it, no one gets in.
but I think if, let's say, Army wins the first one, I don't think Navy's like, oh, we want Army to go. We're going to lay down.
They're going to try to
No
ruin
chance.
everything.
No chance. They're going to
No chance.
play 100 times harder.
They're like, that's our Super Bowl, and we're knocking them out of being in the
The
college football.
Navy coaches have openly said, I would rather go 1-11 and beat Army than have a good year.
They have never gone 1-11. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemies. Okay.
Aaron, I was just going to ask you guys, like, I don't know how does it feel?
I learned a hell of a lot more about myself in 1-11 than I did in any other winning season.
Yeah.
Bro,
I hope the scenario happens, though, man. That'd be awesome.
I want one of them to win out.
I
I
would
want
love
one of them to win out.
would love
And
it.
Can you imagine having to play fucking Army in the first round of the playoffs? As a coach, I would be so upset because like you got to prep for that 2 weeks beforehand, bro.
There is nothing I want more than Kalen DeBoer to have a 7 seed and have to go and play against the freaking Black Knights of the Hudson, practicing.
and it's snowing.
Oh my god! And you know they're gonna come out with the most zero dark 30 uniforms possible.
That would be a rowdy atmosphere.
If Army goes to the playoff, I might buy at least $200 worth of Army football gear just to support during the months during the holiday season.
I do have one question.
Sure.
So we see a conference championship title between Army Navy, and then we go on to the historic rivalry for the next game.
Right.
This is not a college football question. If that game ends up being just the game of the year, does our Army and Navy recruitment from our country see a spike? because they see
As like military wise.
as a military, as young men
Yeah.
see an opportunity in the Army and Navy Academy because it's on such a big scale, and they now have an opportunity here. Do you think we see a spike in that?
I don't want.
great
I don't want to get political on it, but it is going to be right after an election,
Bro, it's
I
gonna
was
be
just
right
gonna
after a
say.
fucking election.
And not
Why
to get
does- why does
not to get
crazy
political
stuff
with
happen
it,
every election? It doesn't like it could be in any
but not to get
industry.
not to get
Yeah,
political with
100%.
it. But
the script writers are insane.
Trump went to one of the Army Navy games, and I guess the place went ape shit when he came out. Like, and honestly,
He was in a trench coat.
but also like, no, he called the coin toss.
Did he really? Oh,
Also,
bro,
like,
you
what-
got
But if you think about it, every American president should call the coin toss of Army Navy game. Every
yes,
single year.
100%.
That should be in
That
the
should be like a
bylaws.
part of it. I think.
That's a red line, non-negotiable.
You got hey. If you're the calendar lady for the United States president,
Circle it.
circle it. Hey, sorry, we can't go to Japan that day. Sorry, North Korea, not today. we gotta toss a coin in the air for Army Navy, baby. It's iconic.
It's for sure going up, bro. Because if you think about it, like we don't ever watch TV besides during football season. And what's on the television? Insurance commercials, Army, Navy commercials, and then what? Like maybe some movie trailers and some car commercials.
Big Pharma.
and then some big pharma commercials. There's like 5 different things that are on the TV. A little bit of that. So it's going to be a huge bump.
yeah.
It's a Red Wave Lager commercial.
Red Wave Lager.
Beautiful.
I think it'll be a massive bump for them. Like
Yeah.
huge. And like you can actually recruit off of that because I think we all got letters from Army and Navy when we were in high school, and I was like, there's no way in hell. Like I knew out the gate, I was like, I don't want to do
Hey
that.
man, I wanted to play ball, Strat.
I wanted every.
Hey, Strat had big offers, huh?
I was like,
out of Snow College, you was big time. Oh, that's crazy.
out of high school and Snow College, I was just like, bro, I know what this entails. I know what this. My boy just got back in from Iraq, and I was like, I'm not down.
Not a shot.
Not a shot, bro. I love my country, but it wasn't for me.
Guys, this is the halfway point of college football, okay? You look across the board, there's a lot of teams. If I've counted correctly, I think there's 10 teams that are still 6-0. There's a lot of 1-loss teams. There's a lot of 2-loss teams. There's a lot of 3-loss teams. There's a lot of teams that have 3-4 losses. You're like, damn, that's kind of a household name. What happened here, right? Now, we've discussed it on the Tailgate Show, where it is kind of the type of scenario now in college football with the transfer portal, and now people are redshirting and all this crap. We'll get into that. Anybody could beat anybody, and especially like I don't think you have a lot of dudes in the program anymore that have been there for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
So there's no culture.
And how do you create a standard when there's no culture? There's no
And,
consistency.
and we talked about it at the Tailgate Show, like Kirby Smart. It's like I now have to build a culture with guys in 1 year, and his one wish is so the transfer portal is more of one window. So like once that window is closed, I know whoever is in this building still, like that's my guys.
and how many months do you really have once everybody's transferred in? 3 months.
No,
It depends on
It depends
the
what
window.
it depends what the
depends-
portal window is.
It depends on where they set that portal window. I was actually having a conversation about this earlier today. Like, you used to be in the world where you got your freshmen into the building and they were all red shirts or a couple here and there
Yeah.
and they're your core. You're working, your strength coach is with them. He's in there dialing them up, making sure that they understand the standard of the program.
Right.
Absolutely.
And depending on what university you're at, that standard is different across everywhere, right? But you're starting to see that, man, I may not have a 35 freshman recruitment class to go build my standard off of, right? That
Still,
number,
the COVID number is still there.
COVID number's still there. You're still running into the issue of the fact that if you don't have the ability to invest in your core group as they grow up, you're going to start losing core guys. You're going to start losing standard of your program because you have no one to hold the rope.
And I feel like even before that, like before the NIL and all that stuff, we had plenty of guys that left even without a transfer portal, right? Like now it's just giving them an excuse that as soon as they aren't the guy, I'm out of here.
I don't think it's the guy. I feel like it for like good dudes. I always use who's the dude at the Packers right now?
Devontae
Evan.
Adams.
Oh, Evan Williams.
Evan.
Evan Williams.
Like Evan, I don't think it's dudes upset with being the guy. I think it's like you get good talent. A big school sees the good talent and they make him an offer he can't refuse. For most of the dudes, I mean, a lot of dudes go in the portal don't get another job because they're exposed on tape.
Grass ain't always greener.
The grass is not always greener. But then I would say our attrition, my senior, like our 1 in 11 year, I think it was like 6 of us left, bro, from like
Well, so
the initial
that's-
recruiting
that's
class.
a good point and a point that I've thought about a lot. I've gone back and looked at the roster from previous years, and I look, I'm like, okay, Trey Watson's gone. Okay, Braylon Lux is gone. Okay, Memorial guy, Josh Kelly. You know, I can go on Jalen Henderson. I'm like, these are guys that were just either already playing well or just about to hit their peak of their career. I mean, it would be huge for the Dogs to have those guys.
No, 100%. Like, I mean, same note that Strat's preaching. Like, I came in with 27 guys, and there was 3 of us left when we graduated.
Yep.
Right?
There were 3 you guys left.
I had 4.
Maybe a couple more. I might be missing a couple.
I think it's hard as a mid-major the way it is, like, already, because, like, you get super bogged down, I would say, sophomore, junior year if you're not getting any playing time mentally. Like, it is a slog because now they're bringing in the new kids. That defensive coordinator wants to, like, hype up that freshman, make him feel good, and then, like, you're still sitting there grinding.
But that's the beauty of college football. That's the beauty of college athletics.
There's always a shiny new toy coming in.
There's always a shiny new toy, and then but you may just be sick of the coaches altogether. You're like, hey, I didn't know this was going to be the commitment because a lot of kids don't know what it's like when you actually get in there, and then like the standards are held, and like, hey, we got school, we got football, and then there's more school, there's more football, and then on the weekends maybe you could go talk to a girl.
And
I
then
think you don't realize too when you're a freshman, like at least I didn't, not knowing college football, like there's a lot of dudes on the team. Like you're used to in high school, I think we had 5 or 6 wide receivers on the team. Like there was a point where we had 19 wide receivers on the roster.
It's a lot of dudes, bro.
There was 3 on the field at one time.
when I came in as a quarterback, there was 9 of us, 9 quarterbacks to play one spot. You want to talk about getting reps? We were not getting reps.
I mean, if you think about it, like I'm an offensive lineman. If I come in and I earn my spot, right? I came in as a true freshman, played a game, and then didn't ever leave that seat, right, for 39 consecutive games. Can you imagine any other center that comes in?
It's not like we didn't
you're-
recruit a
you're gonna
center
have-
after
we-
you.
It's not like we didn't, right? I just looked at it as like you have to get in the mindset again of understanding college football that it is a testosterone-based dog-eat-dog world.
That's
And
when
if you don't want to be a part of that, you don't want to toe the rope, you don't want that little adversity in your life, yeah, go ahead, transfer out.
kids aren't built for it though, and like
No.
when I had gotten there, like I didn't make it as a quarterback. So when I switched to safety, my whole mindset was bury guys in reps, bury them under the reps. Right, as soon as they give me, instead of getting 10 reps that day, I get 15. Then I'm like, I'm going to get those 15. I don't care. I'm going to get 20, and then I'm going to get 30. And now nobody's able to get reps, and I am now the only guy that's going to play because they can't get reps on me.
I would say most of the kids though have never encountered a hard point in their life because they were always good. Right, you're always good no matter what. You're always the best kid or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why we love walk-ons so much because they come in, they grind their fucking face off, and they work
Let 'em know.
to get what they want. Shout out walk-ons. But then you have these kids who come in like, oh, well, I've been so good, and then there's A. Mitch in front of him, and then he wants to switch spots, and he can't get any time there. And then he's not committed to the work of monotonousness.
No, they press the eject button now.
It's 2 years, bro. It takes 2 years to develop the skills
than
to be legitimate.
No, it's the eject button.
I think when I was coming into college and I was looking at it, I think at like Nebraska, right? Yeah. Nebraska pumps out O-linemen left and right. You could go through your redshirt year, your redshirt sophomore year, redshirt junior year before you even see the field,
Right.
Because they're pumping out.
You're trying to be on the shield and punt.
Yeah, you're trying to get on the bus, baby. Find a way because you might like you see guys get drafted all the time that have maybe played like more, maybe not as much now because of COVID, but like there's #1 draft picks from offensive line that said, "Hey, I played 12 games.
Dude, I saw that last year.
I played 12 games."
That's
in
honestly
college.
Wide receivers who have 384 yards in a year, and you're
Exactly,
like,
because
this
you're-
guy's in the 3rd
You
round.
finally got your opportunity, and you got to go maximize your opportunity, right? You got to get when somebody gives you a chance to get on that field, special teams, punt, whatever. You got to take advantage of that and find ways to get.
That was the crazy-
Just continue to chop wood and carry water.
Yeah, like a lot of the young guys now that are on the team, like we'll have conversations. I've had guys text me like, "Oh, dude, I didn't make the bus," or this or that. I'm like, I didn't start my first game until my 5th year. Like, I would have never played if it wasn't for COVID and my injury. I would have probably never started.
There's a lot of guys I know that never dressed out.
Yeah,
That's
Like
crazy.
they go 4 or 5 years and they don't dress out.
What did we
And
used to?
It's just like
we used to talk about this during conditioning. We were like, 11 guys start on offense, 11 guys start on defense, 11 guys play on special teams. How many guys are there?
120 guys on a team. Like,
And then now
and there's guys you got to think too. It used to be, are you a scholarship player or are you a walk on? Now there's walk-ons, which are scum. There's scholarship players. Then there's guys
NIL.
getting paid.
Yeah.
And there's guys getting paid X amount. And with coaching staff turnover and whatnot, like sometimes coaches want their guy to play. Sometimes they were promised certain things, just like normal recruitment bullshit. But there's a whole different element that comes into it. So it is hard to get on the field, and it is very mentally discouraging when you're not getting the reps that you want. But that's part of becoming a fucking grown-ass man playing college football.
Exactly.
Guess what it teaches you?
Adversity.
Shit ain't always sweet in this world, baby. So you gotta find a way to win.
Bro, and you know who the bitches are in conditioning. You know who the bitches are. Like, there's 120 dudes on the field. You
got O linemen here. You don't want to run.
Well, no.
But, like, even in the O-line-
different. Nobody ever.
We've had tough times.
Nobody's ever thought about O linemen not like being able. It's like, okay, I get it.
I'm thinking from a skill perspective. When you're in your fourth rep of cut 300 and somebody's got a cramp all of a sudden, and he had a cramp the same time last week and the week before that, or a guy makes a bad play and all of a sudden he's hurt.
If I'm the strength coach, I'm cutting them immediately. I even know who you're talking about.
You can't be you can't get the scissors.
I want to be at a big boy school to where I can be like, hey, yeah, I'm Deion Sanders. Hey, you're not Gucci. You're not Louis. You're gone. There's a reason he did it, though, because kids don't have the fucking mentality. And like Alabama kids, Nick Saban's the greatest of all time because he bred the mentality in the dudes who would sit for 4 years.
It's weird to think about it. Like, I see some of the young guys, and I think like that guy would fit in 2018, and that's kind of like my little sniff test for guys if like they're really about it or not. Is like, would they fit in with the 2017, 2018?
I'd love to know. I don't want to get into it. I don't think there's many. I'm not trying to be that old guy.
I'm in the building every day.
Two?
There might be a guy.
The thing is, you're strong as your weakest link. Correct. It's not about how fast you are or strong you are, or how many touchdowns you score. It's the intangibles of is everybody on time? And on time, if a meeting starts at 6:30, that means everyone's in the building, seated down with the notebook open at 6:20.
Yeah.
So if you walk in at 6:23, everyone's looking at you like,
what are you doing?
Dumbass.
Things are already if you're walking at 6:23, things are already unraveling for you.
Or what about a practice where the locker room's a mess and all of a sudden, like,
oh no,
you're in some deep shit.
You know what? Doing
my question
up-downs?
is, I don't think that's happening anymore because
There's no senior leader.
because there's seniors. leagues.
I think I know exactly where you're going with this.
It's really hard to hold the line on these kids nowadays because they can just say, "Fuck you, I'm gonna go somewhere else."
And that was the thing that I used
That's
to.
a really big thing in college football now is how do I toe the line of
And this is I just want to make it clear, this is across college football.
No,
this
yeah.
is
This is
not.
not
and
impressive.
again, this is a reason why Nick Saban literally has vocalized now, like, I
can't be
can't
in it.
coach the way I need to.
these problems are happening in Alabama's locker room right now.
And I got to live both worlds, right? I got to live the turn up or transfer, either step up or get out. We don't need you here.
I mean, that was 2017 motto.
I remember it.
Malik Forrester used to stand in there in the locker room and yell, "Turn up or transfer" with half the sandwich in his mouth. Like,
Oh boy, thick. He looks good.
he looks good. I'm glad to see him back in the valley. You know.
And then I've also seen as soon as I press on a guy and get on a guy, get your hands off your hips, stand up, stop being soft. Man, why am I even here? Why am I? And it's like, how do
should break
It does.
and
It's
see,
a strat.
see, and
Did
strat.
not happen.
Hey,
It happened at us. Okay,
Hey, I'll tell you
I
this.
saw Kurt Scobie and Tyler Davison throw some punches at each other. Okay,
I'll tell you
I
this.
saw-
I've thrown some dudes in the dirty laundry basket.
I've
so.
seen some crazy stuff out there.
But
Josh Hoke at Savion.
bro, that goes into, I will say,
Jones, Jeff
and Jeff
Allison.
Allison. Bro,
All right.
but that goes into like that core group of being like, no, fuck you. And it's not a coach thing. Like, and that it's so hard to maintain that like mentality.
The best teams are player ran,
player
the
led.
standards high. All right, hang on.
No, you're good.
We're gonna move on. We can talk about fucking this shit all day.
Stratton Brown and Jacob Vasquez went rounds out of practice. Just know that.
It's the halfway point in college football. I'm gonna go around the horn here. Everyone could answer this question, and I want your take. We're gonna start with this. Who is your number one team that's been a surprise of success this year in college football? I'm going to start. No, you can't say Army or Navy. I'm going to start. I'm going to go with the obvious here. Vanderbilt. They're 4-2. They beat Alabama. They beat Kentucky last week. So that wasn't a fluke
It's real.
because Kentucky is actually a good football
They played
team.
Georgia good as fuck.
They're a good football team. So I'm gonna go Vandy, which I think's crazy because last year this quarterback was at New Mexico State. The Dogs took care of him, but I kind of watched him throughout the year as preparation for that game. I went to the game, not a lot to do in New Mexico. Watched it on the flight, had some warm nuts. Me and my dad drank some like Crown Royale. It was nice.
Sounds like a lovely.
It was a good little connecting flight. The guy's pretty good, but I think when you just kind of get that spark in the locker room of, I don't know how we're winning, but we believe.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how. They're
Yes.
clearly better than us. They execute more. They have like 100 national championships to our, I don't think any. But guess what?
Never beat us.
What have we been saying? And not to drop too many F-bombs on this pub, but fuck it. Let's go out, boys. And sometimes in football, like, you need that fucking mentality.
Correct.
You need that fucking mentality.
Correct.
And I think they put their foot in the ground one day and said, fuck these motherfuckers. They bleed like we bleed. I'm ready to go. Let's make a play. And all it takes is one dude on the opening kickoff to smack someone
Just level somebody.
and come up to the sideline, turn, and everyone's like, all right, they're down on the 26-yard line. Like, we still got to go play defense right now. It
don't matter.
It doesn't matter because the defense is kind of about ready to run out, and they're like, oh, shit.
And now everybody's
like
like,
that.
Hey.
And especially if you're a road team, like if you're a home team, you got the crowd back you. I constantly...
My favorite games are away games.
Somebody needs to be in the wreckage, okay?
Bro, but I'm just saying,
Literally.
it really sets the tone. And I don't think, I know there's other sports where like scoring a point or a home run or something can get you going a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
In football, it takes one play like that.
Absolutely.
And
There's nothing like momentum in football.
sudden change.
There's nothing.
Sudden change.
Sudden change.
If it's 0-0 and somebody houses a punt return, the momentum is 95% swung.
Look at
But in a snap of a finger, it can shift.
and
And
look
house
at
it back.
That's the
Look
beauty
at-
of college football
Look
and
at
college.
Fresno State versus Boise State last year. We returned a kickoff with what? No
Yeah,
time
that
on
changed-
the clock.
that-
That was electric.
Could they have not scored another touchdown? Absolutely. But there's certain things that just, it's literally knocking the wind out of somebody.
Yeah.
Anyways, halfway point of the season. Let's stay on topic here, boys. That's on me. Fuck me, right? Halfway point of the season. My number one surprise team is Vanderbilt. I'm going to pass it over to Steven Comstock.
Okay, beginning of the year, week 1, I'm like, I want to see what Oregon does. Oregon's my pick. Oregon barely beat Idaho State, or Idaho, excuse me.
Yeah, Vandals.
The Vandals. And I look at that, I'm like, that
They're
does
frauds.
not look good. Like,
Yeah.
Oregon's the same Oregon when we played them. We almost beat them. We should have beat them. Whatever. And then Boise comes out, and their running back goes crazy, and they almost lose that game too. Now they've beaten Ohio State. They beat them by 1 point. Kind of a crazy game. But
They
that
should have lost. That one was bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
but
I
that,
think
that-
it's genius coaching.
Guess what? They're number 2, and that surprises me.
All right, Aaron, who's your halfway point team you're surprised by on their success so far?
Halfway point team that I'm shocked by is young Kenny Dillingham over at Arizona State. I think he's a young coach. He came out of nowhere and just kind of really is the epitome of what college football looks like now, right? You got the kind of changing of the guard with some of these older coaches that have just had phenomenal careers and have left an impact on college football like no other. But now we're shifting into the pace of like, hey, you're more than just a football coach.
Right.
You're a communicator. You're a brand builder. You're a GM. You're a
Yeah.
connector. Like you have to find a way to really crawl into these young cats' heads, right? And
You're a banker.
I just like you're an accountant as well. Okay, like there's a lot more on.
Dude
on
said
college
CPA.
football.
Financial portfolio
Yeah.
advisor.
You're doing everything.
They're also just dealing with bullshit all day long.
Yeah, they are.
You imagine having a good game and a kid comes up to your office, knocks on the door. Hey, I had such a good game. I need more money now. And they could do that every week if they wanted to. Okay. But listen, Bo Scatterborough, real deal white boy running back. Okay. He runs downhill. He looks like Steve Austin from The Longest Yard. All right. He is trying to run.
does.
He is trying to run the rock.
I feel like his tattoo's
And
like a
punish
little
people.
trailer park, and his swag is with the no sock.
Is that
And
not
the no
Arizona
glove?
State?
And the
Is
no
he not
glove?
Just bought into the brand of
No
Arizona
sock.
State.
He's no glove too.
He's no.
Have
glove.
you ever looked at what
a
Arizona
barbed
State's
wire
campus
tattoo on
looks
his arm?
like? He is literally the epitome of what Arizona State
He
is.
for sure
I'm
gets
gritty.
some jungle
I
juice
show
and
up.
smokes a pack of cigs after the game, and that's
On
how it should
Wednesday,
fucking be.
I finish a bottle of Henny with my O line, and then on Saturdays I run for 200. Like, It's literally Arizona State
Copenhagen mid,
trademarked right now.
Yeah.
That is what college football is all about, though.
and it fires me up even more that the dogs shut him out.
Okay,
Just saying.
Facts.
but I like that pick.
I just like their energy, man. I'm a vibe guy. I'm an energy guy. Every time I pull on their game, they're kind of in a tight one, but
Yeah.
they pull together and get it done.
It was
Like,
so fun to watch that Utah game.
when he left.
man.
When
That
he
post game
finished his
interview.
postgame and
Post game interview.
Said, "I'm one of these
No,
guys."
I was one of these guys 6 years ago. He's 34, man. But he's and like the interview didn't end. The crowd like
ended it for him.
slurped
Yes.
him in, and like the camera was just like, where? First of all, where's the cops who are supposed to protect the guy, bro?
Hey,
They're
he's
out there.
young. He's young.
They're like, he's fine. He's got oxygen.
He looked at him. He looked at him and said, "I don't need you guys tonight."
He goes, hey, look. I thought he was crowd surfing, bro. Strat, halfway point of the season, who's your most surprising?
Bro, I think Miami. I wasn't thinking Miami. I really wasn't. I'm just happy that the U is back. And Cam Ward, I didn't really watch him like that. I've never seen such a relaxed football player in my life, bro. I've never seen such a nonchalant, yeah, this shit could all fucking go down in a handbasket. I don't care. Like walking, dime. What, bro?
He's got some ganja.
He's scrambling. He's scrambling and trotting.
I mean, my man is like walking
At the U,
lit.
maybe
I don't know,
you
bro.
with
I
that
feel like,
CBD infused.
I don't think it'd be that, bro. I think it'd be some.
You know what it is? Did you see that stuff on Instagram and on Twitter where his receiver was training with Lamar Jackson or something, and he said, "You're not going to be catching passes from that guy. You better get over here and be catching passes from me." Preparation creates confidence, and that's what it is.
Oh,
I think he's old too. I actually know his. I don't know
How
if
old
it's his
is he?
agent. He's
25?
He's a sixth year.
I think he's
Yeah.
25, 24, 25.
Yeah.
Play his entire.
Washington State.
No.
No, he came from somewhere else.
Arnett Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incarnate Word
Pulled that one out of the archives.
blasted their ass.
70-0.
That was the year after the 1-11 year where it's like, are we good at football? And it's like,
We're better. We're good.
we're better this year.
Dude, I remember being a recruit at that game, and there's like, I don't know, 3 minutes left. They're going to kick a field goal. It's like a 15-yard field goal. We block it for a tutty. I'm like, oh my god.
JB had two that game.
Oh, he was one of those.
Oh man,
No, that was my worst game of my senior year. Against Incarnate Word. Come on.
that hurts.
Heisman Trophy frontrunners right now. Okay.
Okay.
I know there's really
Okay.
two. There's
two people, bro.
There's really two. Let's lay it out there.
No one is doing what Travis does.
Nobody's doing what Travis Hunter's doing at Colorado, and the Boise running back is just
Standing there like Michael Myers, ready to fuck someone up, just in the back.
Dude, he's just standing there,
so.
buff as hell.
Is there?
String D lineman, and like you just get subbed in the game because you're a little tired, like the starter guy's tired, and you look in the backfield and he's just
Like slight smirk, like
Now,
just like
I don't.
another one.
How much does winning football games correlate with your chances to win the Heisman? Because if Boise
it
goes
has to
12
weigh.
and
It
0,
would say a lot
if
besides Travis Hunter.
But if Boise goes
I
12 and
agree.
0 and Colorado ends up like 8 and 4,
It depends on Travis'
See,
stats.
and
he was hurt last game, but did he not?
Yeah, he got hurt.
So is statistics going to matter towards him? Like, is he in the top 5 as a wide receiver? Is he in the top 5 as a corner? I know that standard's psychically high, but I'm saying like, is it the fact he's doing both that he gets to win it?
I don't think it's the fact that he's doing both. I think it's the fact of the level that he's doing both.
I agree with that.
Like the catches that he's making, the one where he like reached around that guy and insane catch,
he's
and then
raw.
his coverage, like even the way he's routing dudes up off the line in man coverage, like oh my goodness, like he's just a menace.
But
and then
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If you look at it, the Heisman is for the best football player, not the best football player that impacts winning on your program. They are looking for the best of the best athletics. Now, impact on game and game time and amount of that, all that plays into it. But we're talking about trying to find the best football player in college football.
But is it the best? Is it the best football player who had the best football season though?
But that's what, yeah. Obviously, all these high level dudes in suits are going to sit around and try to figure out like, okay, if Boise gets a bid to the college football playoff and Colorado State bums out and doesn't even make a conference championship, they're gonna make a case of why one had more impact than the other because it's impact on the game, right? But I can't look at Travis Hunter and tell you that in no world would I ever be able to play both sides of the ball at that high level.
No,
And there's been who?
disagree.
There's been
Adoree'
Miles
Jackson
Jack.
did it.
Miles Jack,
Miles Jack
Adoree
was
Jackson,
But they
the kid out of Michigan, Jabril
Miles-
Peppers, and he was only a returner. Like
Returner. doesn't
I
count.
when I was
I don't know,
a
Trav-
fan of UCLA,
Tyrann Mathieu though played returner, and Tyrann Mathieu's probably one of the top.
Hey,
special teams, I don't think category.
I don't know if it
as
counts.
being a
But like so,
but Tyrann Mathieu.
so Tyrann Mathieu should have won it. He was insane.
That was my guy.
That was my guy.
the best player.
He was the best player in college football.
Because he was electric.
It gets. I think it always comes down to getting a little bit of political where they want a quarterback, and I think this year, I don't think there's a quarterback.
No.
there's
Now
not.
Cam Ward, your guy Cam Ward, if they end up 12-0 and his
If they end up
statistics are
12-0 and he
gonna have
keeps
to have a run.
around the field,
He's gonna have to have a run though of like some very impressive, like keep winning games at the last second or like just clutching.
No,
stuff.
you don't want to be winning
I
guy.
don't want to win games last thing. I want
No, I want to.
yeah, he needs to start pumping the ball.
Here's my point, right? Heisman, like kind of like Johnny Manziel, found a way to win all these games, blah blah blah. Like if he can continue to put numbers up, like let's say he throws 4 touchdowns and he had a late touchdown to win the game, like he has to have the stats to back it. But
Steven, Johnny Manziel,
Not even close, bro. Johnny Manziel.
don't say such a stupid ass take ever again.
Bro,
What do you mean?
Were you watching
motherfucking
football when
Manziel
Johnny
is
Football
the
was
rawest college football player of all time?
doing lines of coke at halftime and getting after it, son?
As a freshman at Texas A&M.
no, what you don't get is Johnny Manziel is my favorite college football
My
player.
man skis at
Me
halftime.
too.
But my point is, if he's doing some crazy shit like he did, yeah, he's gonna win. That's my point.
Athletes coming to his locker.
Bro, he had professional.
Kid, he went to Drake's house and he was like 18. And he played, Missouri on Saturday.
Johnny for sure got lost in the sauce when he was at TAMU.
Hey,
Yeah.
He danced well, but
I'm not hating, bro.
Nights,
I don't think anybody else would have fared differently.
I would.
And I don't know if anybody else could have handled it.
No, bro. LeBron, that's
Built different.
Hey, when I have my big boy to bring the juice cast, Johnny Manziel's in my top 5.
oh yeah, easily, bro.
Like maybe if he was like, hey, if you fly me out on a PJ, I'd do it. I'd honestly have like a car wash to try to raise funds for.
I would be helping with that car wash.
I'd do it.
We would do whatever it takes.
I'd maybe even wear a Speedo if like that would like incentivize.
I know a guy.
I've had multiple nights where I have a couple Red Wave Light Lagers and I'm looking at the Texas A&M gift shop on my phone and I'm like, a Johnny Manziel jersey is only $59.95. He hasn't played it a lot. My sister.
Hold up. Hey,
my sister went to A&M.
He better be getting his NIL money off of that, all right? He better get his royalty payment from the university for selling his jerseys.
Wait, didn't he already get that?
Well, the bag band's a little different than NIL, all right? Here's my question for you before you try to jump us to the next one. Travis Hunter, on a podcast today, made
saw
it
that.
very clear. He said,
No one is doing
Alshon, Genty, 95 carries over 1,000 yards. Okay, or maybe a little. I'm here and there. He's over 1,000. Travis Hunter said, "If I had 95 catches, how many yards would I have?"
You know what?
Is that congruent? Can you make that?
No, I don't.
You know what, Aaron?
I
don't think so.
I want to hear the thoughts.
I don't think so.
This is my thought. Right? 95 passes is going to take a few games to get to that. 95 carries is what?
4 games. Yeah.
4 games, and it's guaranteed that you are touching the ball.
Go watch the
Right?
Netflix
If you're-
documentary Wide
if
Receiver.
We're talking about attempted passes, right, or targets. 95 targets doesn't equate to 95 catches.
Right, how many catches did Keyshawn have his senior year?
I don't know. I don't have my Keyshawn Johnson's.
But like, was it? I don't know. I feel like his jersey's right there. It 90 passes already like this way in the year. Like,
Okay,
that's a
so
lot of catches.
Mac is going through it right now, his senior season, right? And like our goals before the season start was he wanted to have 1,000 yards. That was the biggest goal. Like his goal to pass to the league is if I run a 4.3, which I don't want to get into this right now, and 1,000
I'll run
yards,
Yeah.
then my chances of exceeding at the next level are high because those are 2 really good statistics as a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
right?
And he can play
Obviously-
teams.
Obviously, and he plays teams. Obviously, catching balls and all that's great, but you can't control how many times people catch you. But when you say, yeah, he's a 1,000-yard receiver, like that's a good bullet point to be able to add, right? But what I'm getting at is it's very difficult to decide, how many times you get thrown the ball, for one. Two, going back to like the targets, like maybe like there's guys in the country that have the same amount of yards as he has with twice as many catches. So you look at a guy's average yards per catch, and you're like, okay, he's got a shit ton of catches, but he's only getting like 2.5 catches.
He's catching hitches.
Throwing a lot of bullets.
hitches.
And I know that we have a philosophy at Fresno State where it's like they try to spread the ball around versus you look at a guy at San Jose State, Nick Nash, who he had like 23 targets in a game.
Damn, bro, that.
So you got to
He said, throw it up.
And they have.
They have 12
Don't-
targets
bro.
already. Double
Hey,
him.
Bracket his
like,
ass.
He was like,
Bracket
Moss,
his
like,
ass.
Hey.
But I'm saying it is like there is programs out there where they could statistically try to make you be elite, and there's programs out there where like they don't give a fuck about your chances to win this award or be first team this or
No,
get drafted,
bro.
and it's
Win
team
games.
first, and they're not even thinking. They're just like, this is what we're gonna do. I think Boise does have a little bit of like. It'd be nice little recruiting touch to say we have a Heisman Trophy winner. Let's give this dude some carries in the fourth
If
quarter.
any school was smart and they had a kid who was on a run, they'd do it because it would carry you. It'd carry you in recruiting. It'd carry you in media. Bro, it is the big because bro, Boise State is on national TV and everyone's social media every day. Every day.
I think it's a very, very slippery slope. Obviously, if the Boise running back maintains this pace and he beats Barry Sanders, right?
Yeah.
Barry Sanders' record, I think he does win the Heisman.
Okay, real quick.
He's on pace.
If Travis continues at his rate though, he will be better than I think he wins it. If Travis continues like he leads in picks and he's the number one receiver,
So
He's not the number one receiver, and he's not
here's-
leading in picks.
So here's the crazy thing, right? Imagine
or he's even close.
imagine that the Boise running back beats those records, right? And then doesn't win the Heisman.
I don't know. I think it's going to also come down to which team has a little more hype on it.
1,000. That's the
And that's where I think is the
1,000%.
determining factor where Boise they do have a shot at making the playoff.
Probably make it now.
Listen, Travis
they went
Hunter.
out,
Travis
if
Hunter's
they-
getting invited to New York no matter what.
And
Yes, both of them are
They're
right
both
now.
being
It's
invited
done
no
deal.
matter
I think
That's
the
like-
crazy thing is we talked about like, okay, which teams are going to make the playoffs. Boise right now has the potential just
because of that.
because of him, not
Well-
even because of strength of schedule or
What
who
happens
they
if he
beat.
goes down 2 games though and they lay an egg?
See,
No,
Now-
see,
don't
they
say that out loud.
no, the
No.
thing is-
Oh, what's that? What happens if he cramps up in Hawaii?
But
We already played
okay,
Hawaii,
well
but
they've
what if he
played
cramps up?
games where he went so crazy in the first half that they sat him for the rest.
I
of
agree.
the game.
They're a good team.
Correct.
They're a damn good team.
You have to understand about Boise though. Boise, anytime Boise's been good in the 6-7 years that I've been around them and hating them, they're only good when they have a running back. When they have to rely on a passing offense,
It's over.
Like Brett Rippon was pretty good, but like they need a running back. Anytime that I lost to Boise in a conference championship or in any opportunity, their running game was rushing for 150 plus.
Right.
Their offense is designed to have
Agreed.
a really good running back. So you say like, hey, do we continue to feed Genty? No, that's their program standard is
Right.
feed running back so it opens up everything else.
yeah, I feel like we are forgetting like they've been a running back school forever.
Also, like it just really hurts to have to talk about Boise like
Yeah,
this, you know,
let's
like-
burn it.
Like
Let's go through, and I know I'm not going to get into specifics with anybody, but the concept in the last few weeks of guys randomly declaring that they're going to redshirt. Obviously, the UNLV quarterback the week before we played him was the biggest one who kind of started it off. If you're on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, you'll go on and see like it's becoming a norm, and some of them are getting publicized, others not as much. I don't understand why. Like I understand the concept of redshirting. You come in as a freshman, it's a grown man's game, man. It's hard to learn the offense. It might be too fast for you. You might be light in the ass, and you got to put some weight on, or they just want you to get used to the program. I get that. It used to be no games. Then it went to 4 games, which I could see the value in. Let's try this guy in. It's great because I feel like there's a lot of guys out there.
You can get
Who-
good reps, bro.
There's a lot of guys out there who
wait.
play 3-4 games and they burn a year, but it's only because they're young.
My sophomore year, I
what I'm
burned
saying.
way too many games. And like,
So-
I would have forced if I was in the situation, I would have forced my hand.
Right.
Okay, wait. So question.
If I was more educated, I would have fought for a redshirt.
I
year.
would have 100%.
Hey, Mitch,
forced my
I
hand.
have a question. I've heard now that you can play in 4 games and postseason.
Postseason doesn't count towards your redshirt year. So
Yeah, so that's
you can play up to 4 regular season games, and then if you go make a bowl game, it's like
Or a
it's
championship
almost in the
game,
NCAA,
bowl game.
or championship game, bowl games. It's almost like, so think about it. You could have a guy at Alabama who, you know, he's a redshirt, or like they want him a redshirt, and he's a really good player, and then they get 3 games left in the season. They're like, okay, we're gonna let this guy eat.
Right.
And then he goes and eats for 3 games.
And then they
He
go
still
on a
can
run.
redshirt, and then he can go play in the conference championship. He
like
can
that.
play in the
So
postseason.
potentially a guy can play in
Meaningful game.
however many
Meaningful games
however
with
many
meaningful minutes.
however many the max games is, but he can win a national championship and play in all
6
the
games
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
I mean, that's a luxury though.
It's a luxury. You have to understand
Well, I'm
though.
just saying,
This
like potentially
this has been going
kinda
on for
crazy.
a long time. Like before the new transfer rules, like
It was 3 to 4.
yeah,
right?
well, not
When
even
we
3 or
were
4.
done-
When we were done, it was still you couldn't play any games. But you would you'd open up space on your bus list to take a freshman with you, so that hey, like we're gonna get you used to traveling on the road. We're
Right.
gonna get you used to like, hey, we're going to Nevada this week. We got an extra bus spot. We're
Yeah,
gonna
they did
bring
that a little bit.
We're gonna bring a freshman wide receiver that's
My-
not gonna play in the game, but he's gonna get a legitimate rep of what a travel day looks like, how to be locked in for a travel day,
So valuable.
how to prepare for it. Like that was the whole plan of like Keyshawn same way, myself. Like
Yeah, Keith
I was
Brown
going on a lot of travel trips. I only played in 1 game, but I've traveled the rest of the year.
Right.
So when I rolled into my sophomore year, there was no hiccup. There was no like growth period of like, oh, hold up, like we've traveled 4 games in a row and I'm on the road and I don't know how to handle myself.
Well, and there's definitely your first travel trip in college football. It's definitely like
Electric.
it's
so
You
fun.
guys maintain the boom boom room?
That
might
is
need
an
to-
undisclosed location for.
I might need to know what the boom boom room
know
is,
what the
but
boom boom room I'm just saying it's you don't realize how locked in that shit really is until you go through a college like even Friday morning practice. It's like it's no bullshit. Breakfast is kind of fun. The
No,
plane
Friday-
rides
yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
Dinner, no one's talking.
locked in.
No one's talking. Very
Pre-game
little.
meal, day game,
Pre-game meal,
at
day
the
game.
hotel.
Try
Here.
eating.
You better not drop your fork.
Oh,
somebody's gonna
don't even
somebody's gonna yell at
smirk
you.
Don't even
somebody.
bring your phone, bro.
Yes. Yes.
And you best be having the team loop on, whatever it
And
is.
you
that
better
day.
be 15 minutes early, because if you're 10 minutes early, it's no
I think
go.
you were there. Do you remember that time we were having I don't remember what game it was. It might have been Boise, but we rolled up the pregame meal and we were a little too rowdy. And Tedford stood up,
I do remember this.
just laid into us about not being locked in, not having the right mindset, and
It was
he-
quiet the next couple
Yo,
weeks.
he-
like nobody talked.
Yo.
And then he stood up again. It was
Yeah.
like,
hey guys, have a little fun.
You guys could have some light conversations or some shit.
I may have.
Legitimately made all of us piss our pants because like we were locked in, we are having a good time, but like maybe we got a little too rowdy, and he
You can't be laughing and shit.
Yeah. What's so fucking funny?
Yeah, you can have a little conversation, but as soon as you start chuckling,
But I would say, at least with college athletics, you need to like make them prepare. But like when you like get to know yourself and how you prepare, I wasn't gonna be fucking locked in, not talking. I'm just relaxed. I'm having a good time. I'm fucking around, and then no one was ever gonna tell me I wasn't prepared.
I
No.
figured that out more in my
Yeah.
professional career.
Friday night dinners are some of the most fun dinners.
Yes, bro.
The meal's delicious. You judge how good the lasagna and macaroni, this chicken steak cubes and all that shit. The mac and cheese, bro.
oh, with the breadcrumbs.
You be going to places,
Breadcrumbs.
man, Minnesota's mac and cheese is shit. And you'd be like, yo, hey, UNLV's mac and cheese is pretty fire, actually. You go pull up to Toledo, what the fuck is this shit? It was, I mean, that's the funnest part about traveling.
Bro, travel, the
as a
food.
freshman, at least, as a freshman.
It's the you already have your meal, and then they come back and go, hey, we got a snack for you guys, and the snack is like
With the ice cream?
wings, any sandwich you could want, a Sunday, whatever.
Dude, they used to
I
have
walked back with like 3 Sandos and 20 wings. And
Nah, bro.
the coach like, what are you doing with that? I was like, getting me.
Dude, some dudes used to bring the duffel bag and put like 30 Gatorades.
Bro, that was me. Every time we.
Away games filled your fridge for the next.
Exactly, bro.
Hey,
Away
our
games.
mini-
I brought my travel bag. I'd fill it up, and like I had someone press me one time. I was like, "Do you know how much fucking money I have? I'm taking this duffel bag."
our damn mini fridge at our apartment was stacked with Gatorades after the away games, and then home games is like a little like, but then away games.
Away games stacked up again, bro. Oh yeah.
Fellas, let's real quick before we get into our playoff predictions, when you are, and we're talking about teams winning and positive vibes, but there's also some teams on here that they've been punched in the mouth, right? There's a couple teams where you're like, damn, like their record's that. What would you say when we've been on teams that get punched in the mouth, you're on a little bit of a low, the biggest flip of a switch you can do internally as a person, individually? Obviously, coaches are going to do certain things, but hey, I'm controlling myself. I got my culture. What can I do that next week where our back is really against the wall now? Like shit hit the fan, and now it's about to. We're one stage before it's going to get really ugly. What's the one thing that you could do? Strat, go ahead.
You got to play for the boys, I'd say number one, because a lot of it, like, you guys would be amazed what happens in the locker room after a couple losses and the divide between the players and the coaches, right? Because that's when I say you got to play for the boys, because like you'll start to see like it'll just get contentious and the hatred in there. So, bro, we're playing for the boys. We all still love each other. We're all here to help each other get better and get to the next level, right? We're all trying to make money. And then for yourself, you need to remember this is your chance to make as much money as humanly possible with the skill set that you have. Because after this point in time, I have absolutely zero chance of making money if I am not good at football for a couple years. Like, I got a shot at winning the lottery, making the NFL, living my best life. And so that, for me, is like what personally held me together. Like, hey, we got to go ball. We got to go ball. And then it's like, hey, we got to play for the boys, help the boys have a great time, help the boys ball. We never really talked about the fans. Like, hey, we got to show up for the fans.
Nah, man.
Bro, and like people talk about that shit.
Well,
No, you want to put on. It's a lot more fun when you're winning. It's a lot more fun than you're winning. But, like, ultimately, you just know the volatility of
Yes.
they love you when you're up. They don't love you when you're down.
And
so, at the end of the day, you got to block that out. You have to.
The coaches did a good job when I was there of just being like, hey, listen, they're going to support you when you win, and they're going to tell you everything you did wrong when you lose, and that's okay. Like, they love you for that. They love you so much that they'll tell you what's wrong. Just go play and go have fun and do your best.
Aaron, what do you think after you get punched in the mouth? What's something you got to do in the locker room?
No, I think that it really is like what Strat said. It's a testament to how close you are with your core group on the team, right? And making sure that, man, one win's all right, one loss all right, two losses. You can't try to put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. If there's big problems, then you need to sort the big problems out. But myself and my own career, it was always coming back to just find yourself in the work. Right, go get back in the training room. If you have a little niggle, you're not feeling 100%, get in the training room. If you're not feeling tight up top,
Right.
go find your strength coach. Right, he's going to be your rock in this situation.
True.
100%.
Very slept on.
Shout out Joey
Yes.
Boze,
Shout out Joey Boze. Shout out Thomas Stallworth. Shout out
Fuck Thomas Stallworth.
Coach Ward. But like that. I can retweet that as well. All right? But the biggest thing is getting back in that locker room and understanding, like, we can sit here and harp on it, but we have a 12-chapter book.
It is.
Okay, and don't let each chapter leak into the next. Understand that you got 48 hours, 24 hours on some cases. Close the book, shut it down, mentally get back into it, and know you got 12 opportunities to have a chance.
Much easier said than done.
Real quick.
What?
If I'd say one thing NIL-wise, whoever an NIL donor needs to be, a sports psychologist for a college football team.
Well, I mean, do they need to donate, or do they just need to come do some sports psychology for us?
Well, either or. Because, like, that goes into, like, when a loss happens,
Right.
bro, my understanding of psychology now and, like, working on my internal self
Yes.
in those losses, like, as we've grown as adults compared to, like, in college, you're like, Jesus Christ, bro, this is terrible. I'm getting fucking loaded.
No.
Think about it.
You lose a game, you're like, where's the Apple Jim Beam at?
Oh, no.
That's why, bro,
Where's the Crown Royal Vanilla when I need it?
psychologist at that point in time, I would think is like immense for all college football teams. Or like Ben Johnson or someone is like the Alabama sports psychologist.
Correct,
And
correct.
that is what he does.
Well, there's more and more. Like, now there's limits on how many coaches can. There's no more limits on how many coaches can be on your sideline, how many coaches can be in your program. I think I saw. I don't remember the team that I saw, but they did a whole little side segment during the game of the whatever this. I think it might have been Arkansas State. It was a red team. They had a breathwork coach.
Yeah.
They hired a breathwork coach that does breathwork mid-game, does breathwork.
Box
in certain
breathing did
scenarios.
not work for us.
But there's a million ways to do breath work. Box breathing is just one of them, right?
Yeah.
But when you ask and say what's the biggest thing that college athletes have to navigate, it's the top six. If you don't handle your top six and you're not able to deploy some metrics that can help you navigate the stress, navigate the time, all that, then you're going to be in a really tough space when your fan, when you're walking into the grocery store on a Tuesday trying to get your meal and a Red Wave fan taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, what the hell happened on Saturday night?" And then gives you 10 minutes of why you should be a better football player.
Right.
I can't walk to my car and let that eat me up for the rest of the week,
You gotta,
2 weeks.
you gotta rip that Band-Aid
I got to
off.
rip that Band-Aid off. I got to make sure that my top six is squared away and just attack the week the next week.
What?
Are we ripping or what?
What do you got? What's
Well,
your
I
what's
was
your one
just gonna-
thing?
where you at?
What's your one thing?
Well, no, yeah, my one thing is just like, so
That?
I just opened one. Like for me, it was like, all right, we were 4-8 my redshirt freshman year, kind of sucked. I didn't really know what was going on because
Talk into the microphone.
the year before, like we kind of won every game pretty easily, and like I was just a red shirt, so
Shit was sweet.
I had no clue, and
That's
and
the
a lot
problem
of
with college football sometimes is you guys don't understand what it takes to be 12
yeah,
team.
no, this is fun. I had no clue. I was like,
love college
oh my
football.
goodness. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I remember like all the old heads being like, hey, listen, like you guys are gonna have to suffer before you start winning again. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay, like during, I had no clue. During like summer, I'm like, we gotta suffer. Come on, guys. And then we go and we're 4-8, and it was rough.
You suffered a
And,
little
yeah,
bit.
we
You
suffered.
don't know the amount that you need to suffer.
No,
Right.
The standard.
Correct.
There's a huge
Correct.
threshold.
It's more than you
amount of
think.
suffering.
Yeah. So then to build
Trauma
on that,
bonding.
like we go through COVID, whatever, and then in 2022 we start out 1-4. We had some injuries, key guys, and next thing you know, like I had no business like starting or anything like that. I was third string, and I just kind of jumped in there when I saw a guy that was hurt, took the opportunity, and I remember we were kind of like our coaches threw it out there to us, like, "Hey guys, we're going to take recommendations of what we should do." And I remember sitting there thinking, like, we're in a bad spot if the coaches are asking players, what are we going to do?
I went 1-11 and never got asked, "Hey guys, what
So
should we
I'm-
run on Saturday night to win?"
So I'm sitting there in my backyard, his brother's house, and I'm like, you know what? Like, they've been preaching about how we should focus on what we do well and not focus so much on what other teams do. And that was kind of like a realizing moment for me 5 years in. Like, if you focus on what you do well and you focus on what you're good at and you execute at a high level, it really doesn't matter what the other team does. That was like the big thing for me, was like, focus on yourself, execute your things, do your assignment well, and at the end of the day, if everybody's doing their job, we're going to win.
I think it goes back to the basics. Like,
Yes.
you guys are right. Play for the boys. And it is. It's play for the boys.
Be the best, bro.
And I think it goes down to, yes, playing for the part of playing for the boys though is being boys. And being boys requires bonding experiences. And one beautiful thing about college football is you're plopped in a locker room with 100, 110, 120 dudes that are every different nationality or race, come from every different corner of the world. Some dudes are from nice neighborhoods, other dudes nothing, like the shittiest, most ghetto neighborhoods in the world. And guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. You got to learn how to get along, right? Some people have never eaten a strawberry before. Some people only eat a certain type of thing. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna have to learn to get along with these guys. Like, you can't not get along with these guys. You could not be friends with them outside of football and invite them to your wedding and name your kid after them and shit. That's fine, but you at least got to be somewhat friends. You got to have some sort of a bond. And I think the teams where we've had success, which I say that because it's not true. Because like the year we went 1-11 was one of the closest teams I've ever been on in my life. And I know, Strat, you got the short end of the stick on this one because
We laid the groundwork, bro. It's okay.
you did,
laid the
but
groundwork.
we needed to
no,
lose
we
more in
needed
the fall.
we needed to lose. But the guys that were still on that 1-11 team the years after that,
Bro, they knew
were
what it was.
so
They were dialed.
bonded off of the suffering of the 1-11, where they said, "Hey boys, we ain't gonna let that happen again," and that required some fun team bonding experiences. It was a couple Red Wave light lagers on Saturday afternoons after spring ball. Like, And it's, I think, one of the coolest things about college football, and I'm sure dudes across the board could relate to this. Like, there's nothing better when you have a nice practice or a nice game or it's a nice off week, an opportunity for you to enjoy a few adult beverages,
To be a college.
to be a college kid. And a guy who you wouldn't really expect to come hang out with you pulls up. Like, you're just kind of like, yo, like, you take a little step in your career, in your life together, and it's like, I'm not gonna say you play harder for your boy because you got fucked up with him one time, but
There's something.
Frank,
But
there's studies
something
out there
to
that show that
you
yes.
do play harder for your boy when you got a bond outside of football. Like,
Yes.
If I know what makes you tick more than just what you do on a football field, I'm going to care about you more. If I care about you more, I'm going to play harder for
And
you.
like we're playing for each other because at certain times, like there's certain dudes who you could give a 2 fucks less about, and like and there's those dudes.
well, I think it's
And
just
so
you
like
got-
the bonding of it. I remember like the week after a bowl game, like when everybody's home, or like the week before a bowl game when everybody's home and everybody's chilling on campus. Bro, some of my best memories ever. Everybody's just chilling. Hey, yeah, I got finals. What are you doing the rest of the day? I don't know, bro. Let's watch Game of Thrones. Right?
Oh, was it Game of Thrones?
It was like Game of Thrones season. Like, oh, you know what, bro? Let's go play COD. We're gonna play COD forever. And like those bonding moments and drinking.
Especially when you talk about the age gap for some guys, because I was always the young guy when I first got in, right? And those moments where I could, have fun with you guys, have fun and hang out, I was like, you know what? Like they kind of see me as one of the guys now instead of just as this young kid that just got out of high school, right? Like that was always a big factor for me. And then when I was older, I knew like, hey, bring the young guy in like Frank did for me. Like George did for me, and like
We brought Frank along from when he was a fucking freshman.
Frank
was with
so
us
it's
all the
extended. So it's extended.
Frank had to speed bump pledge his freshman year getting into Kai Kai Kai. Just know that.
The worst shit about playing college football, one of the worst things is when you're friends with all the older dudes. And I know, Steve, you experienced this. And you're a fifth year and like the boys are gone.
They're gone.
And you're just depressed. You're really sad. Like you're genuinely sad.
I remember-
And the only thing I didn't experience, I mean, Steve's probably the only one, but like I didn't really have a lot of friends that were younger than me, like boys. Like I know Aaron, like you had it, like there was one more year where you could have been on that team of like these are my boys.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you kind of had that experience of like I remember I'm thinking about the UCLA game for some reason where it's like, ugh! And I didn't experience that, but I also had Mac there at that point, so where
Yeah.
it kind of was an easy transition for
Yeah.
me. But the best teams are close teams because they care about each other. The ones that win championship.
Yeah,
Very
yep.
true.
Well, I
Very,
mean, hey,
very
they did a study in the
There's
NBA.
a fine line in there, for sure.
They did a
But it's the grayest, thinnest line that you've ever seen.
well. I'll tell you this: they did a study in the NBA. The team that won the NBA Finals was the team that had the most touches. That's a stat from Coach DeBoer, and we took it and ran with it.
What do you mean
I'll just say
touches?
it. Touches.
Like
Like
Just
like
like-
just
like
Freddie
no,
Dap
No,
ups?
it could
Like,
it could
what's
it could be
good?
it could be a dap up, it can be a hug, it can be a
Ass
like
slap.
a fist bump, it could be an ass slap, it could be a ball tap,
There's a lot to it.
any
bro.
of them.
There's a lot.
a kiss.
It could be a kiss.
Depends on how tight we are.
Depends on how
Yeah.
tight we are, bro.
It really does.
I mean, look at Tom Brady. He used to kiss his coach and his kids. I mean,
I'm with you though, bro. I'm with you. I think teams that aren't winning, they need to touch each other a little more right now.
100%, bro.
All right, so we're gonna transition real quick.
No pause.
And I asked you guys before the pod.
All did it.
Oh,
All did it.
I want to know everybody's projected college football playoff teams. Okay,
Let me go first. I gotta knock this out.
Strat's got to go first. Strat's ready to go. He's gonna go first.
Sure, you want to go first on this?
Oh man,
You might get some shit.
I'm gonna get some shit.
Okay, so listen. Here's how it's gonna go.
I gotta go 1 through 12.
You don't have to name them. Just tell us your
order,
12.
not
Tell
order.
us your 12. We're gonna listen, and then we're gonna have a little round table until we move on to the next guy. If you have to go, no problem. Strat, give me your 12
I'm
projected.
gonna say
college
Army is making it.
'Kay.
The playoff. Army's making it in the playoff.
Army. There's one.
Oregon for sure. Texas for sure. Ohio State's more than likely going to be in there. I'm going to take Miami. Will be in there. I'm riding with Alabama and Kalen DeBoer. I'm going to say somehow Georgia doesn't make it.
Oh, that's a hot take.
That's
Okay,
a hot
continue.
take. I mean, the SEC is just so wild. Like it is a gauntlet through the end of it, and someone has to step out. And so that's one for me. I don't think LSU is going to make it. I think Iowa State, if they can make a run at it, possibly.
You're at 7.
Keep going.
I fucking hate Clemson. but no one else is in the ACC. I hate Clemson. And the most lack of color in an offense I've ever seen in my life. Wow. But I mean, they're doing pretty
honesty.
good. They're doing pretty good. Boise's probably going to be in it. Notre Dame will more than likely be in it.
Is that 9?
Finish your
Is that
12.
9? Is that 9?
Finish your 12.
That's 9.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, is Pitt going to make it?
Just finish your 12. Finish your 12.
Two more. No Michigan.
By the way, he's only just looking at top 25.
I'm legitimately looking at it.
I hear playing like,
No. Hey, Strat's like, I don't fuck with them. Fuck it.
I got 3 more.
Yeah, 2.
Two more. Give me them Utes. The Utes are going to win out.
I'm going to.
Who?
Utah Utes.
Utah Utes. Utah Utes.
Got absolutely.
Hey, don't talk about it.
They're not
All
ranked.
right, who else you got? You got one more.
I got one more. Oh my God. What? No. Tennessee.
All right.
Okay.
We'll go around the horn real quick. Reactions. Let's not talk while each other are talking because I could fucking gas this for another 30 minutes. I think out of all that, Georgia not being in.
The SEC, bro, the SEC is a wild place. I honestly
why do you
put
think
Tennessee
Georgia's not
over
gonna
Georgia, honestly. Because it'll be Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU's kind of winning right now. And one of those 4 has to get left out.
But you got to understand.
Do they though?
You got to understand the breakdown. There's the 5 highest rated teams, and there's 7 at-large bids. So you're telling me that Georgia doesn't make it to the conference championship and somehow is left out of that conversation, so therefore they don't make it in?
If Georgia beats Texas on Saturday,
If Georgia beats Texas on Saturday,
that changes my
they're
whole.
in. Yeah.
Georgia has to play. They got Texas, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee,
Ole Miss,
UMass,
Tennessee.
and Georgia Tech.
Oh, okay, so their schedule isn't that rough. If they beat Texas, they're in.
Okay,
They have
yeah,
4
but-
games left.
I
If
mean,
they beat Texas,
their
they're in.
schedules-
Even if they lose to Ole Miss, they're still in.
But I mean, they have to play Texas. They have to play.
Watch them just like wagging out the rest of it and put up tons of points. I bet you they're still in.
Yeah, but that Tennessee Georgia game very well could be a win and get in type deal.
I could see that. I could see that.
Especially Tennessee. Tennessee's not been on a high right now.
No, and I thought they were
Tennessee
going
plays
to.
Bama this weekend. So if Tennessee.
This is one of the greatest weekends in college football history, by the way.
Tennessee plays Bama this weekend. They play a hungry Kentucky team. Mississippi State. They should beat their ass. They play Vandy at the end of the year. Vandy's gonna want to knock someone.
Vandy's going to want someone.
Going to knock people in the mouth the rest of the year because
I
they
think
beat Alabama.
between Vandy playing Georgia left and Ole Miss, Georgia left and Tennessee left, I think
They have a shot.
win one of those 2 games.
Dude, and this is my thing, right? They have so much juice. They have so much energy. They had no business beating Alabama.
I think even if they were to get humbled against like whoever they're playing this week, if they were to get humbled, I still think it wouldn't affect them. They're going to just keep swinging.
Kirby Smart is not losing to Vandy. Kirby.
Kalen did.
Kalen DeBoer has only been in Alabama for 1 year. I'm not talking about Vanderbilt. I'm talking about program tradition. Kalen DeBoer's been in Alabama for 1 year. He's still trying to figure out what tradition looks like there.
Okay.
Georgia is not. Kirby Smart is not losing to Vandy. Kirby Smart is about to.
I interviewed Kendall Milton on here.
Oh yeah, I've heard he's crazy.
That shit went viral. The clip of him describing a Kirby Smart pregame speech before they beat who was it? Jake, Florida. Bro, this motherfucker is awesome.
Bro, I'm going to bring him into like fire up sales teams.
PA at practice.
Bro, this motherfucker is crazy.
He has a mic, and he just
Yes.
Bro,
wow.
PA system. He could be over looking at the O lineman and go like look across the field and see a DB messing up and MF the DB.
Let's go.
I love that.
I need that in my
Yes.
life.
I remember when I was like on defense and I would catch the ball and Coach Tedford is like watching easy ups and I didn't like high and tight the ball and I just hear him from across the field, Comstock, high and tight.
don't be a fucking idiot.
now I'm thinking and now I'm thinking, okay, a PA system and just everybody knows.
I think I'd go shot callers.
Shock.
The concussion shot callers.
Bro, I told dude.
Please elaborate
hold
what
up,
you
hold
mean
up.
by
Okay,
shot
okay.
collars.
All right, so I had this idea, and I don't see what's wrong with it. We put shot collars on our dogs, okay? Hear me out. So we used to have this thing where they would show a play, and you'd have to type in your responsibility on your phone, or you'd have to write it down,
Yes.
right? And part of this is having fast reaction time and not fucking it up, especially
Process.
Frontal cortex.
From an offensive standpoint, when a play is shown, you need to know what you're doing like automatically, okay? If it takes you 6 seconds to see you're the X and you have a slant, you're fucking not going to make a good play.
No.
You're not making the bus, okay? So you got to go fast. So I believe it was Ryan Grubb where I was like, why don't you put shot collars on us? And you don't even put it around the neck.
Bro, just get it out. It sounds like some Delana shit.
Ryan
Doesn't
Grubb,
have to be on the
but
neck.
Ryan Grubb would buy into
Put
this.
it on the ankle.
No,
Put it on
not
the
a
ankle.
fan.
Put it on the wrist.
I am.
Put it on the wrist.
No.
It doesn't have to be. It's not going to.
As a coach, I'm a fan.
But you just go. You don't know it. It's a light.
Almost
Just
like
so you know.
almost like
And
the
it-
fake
it
gum
might-
pull.
it
like
might-
when
it
you
might-
get
Yeah.
and it kind of shocks
It
you a
might
little bit.
turn up a little bit,
Bro, could
as you
you-
continually to.
Could you imagine?
There are more volts.
You missed 5 plays in a row. It's
Bro, could you imagine Schramm and Toth with those things? Bro, they'd kill kids.
they don't get-
they'd get off on just like, no, hey.
They would
Bro.
intentionally put the wrong play on the
They, like, nope.
Hey, what's the one that was like
just
getting
saying.
on Georgie at Utah?
I gotta go coach some kids on how to tackle.
Hey, rugby's the next generation of American sports.
a hot take.
Hot take. Thank you, boys. Good
See ya. Watch the chords. Watch the chords.
I'm the one who pushed it back.
Yeah. No, shut the fuck up.
I gotta piss, man.
Comstock,
Hold it.
hold your beers in.
Listen,
We're
these
almost
Red
done.
Wave light loggers are hitting.
All right,
Looks like a graveyard down here, brother.
here we go.
The bone saw.
We heard
ready.
Strat. We heard Strat's projected college football playoff. It was 6 out of 10. Okay, it was okay. Everyone has their own opinion. Aaron, tell me your 12 teams you think will be in the college football.
I'm gonna go fast because I prepared for this and I'm
Please
ready.
do.
Texas, Oregon, Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Tennessee, BYU, Army, Penn State, K-State, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Shot out of a cannon. The only reason I know it that way is because I did my research, and I want you to know my sneaky one in there,
Yeah,
Notre Dame.
that's your sneaky one.
Lost
Wait,
to
did
N-
Arizona State make that cut?
Arizona
Wait.
State's a cusp team, in my opinion.
Okay.
They have to win the Big 12 to get in. They will not get an at-large bid. If they now continue on their streak and find their way in, I think they end up replacing an Army and Navy or maybe a K-State because they're in the same conference.
You had Army and Navy in there.
I do have it on my paper as both of them in there, but they are not allowed to both be in. So I went with the Army Black Knights.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
How does Army get in and Notre Dame because they have to play each other? So a 2-loss Notre Dame with a loss to NIU and Army, who are both
Army needs to be
non-power
undefeated to go.
fives though.
Let me give you a rundown into how my brain works. When we're talking about marketability, we're talking about name brand teams being within a college football playoff.
Notre Dame's in that.
First time ever we've ever had a 12-team playoff.
That was the answer
if
I wanted.
Notre Dame is anywhere near the chance of being in that, they're going to be in that.
I mean, what are they? They're one of the top sports, like
12?
recognition
The
sports in the
brand-
world.
The brand,
they're top.
The brand logo alone give like same thing with like so Texas, Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame. They have good seasons and they play well, but they also have on their side the fact that they have a crazy fan bases.
Yeah.
They're a not just nationally recognized, like a worldwide
Yeah.
known brand.
And Notre Dame's like at the top of that. They're
And if
the
we
peak.
saw anything from last year with the college football playoff where an ACC school goes undefeated and doesn't get in because of some politics, right, or some version of, oh, that quarterback got hurt, they're not going to be the same, they are going to pick – they're trying to have the most prolific 12-team college football playoff ever because we've never been in a situation where 12 football teams get in a playoff.
right.
So you think year one they're going to go with the biggest names?
I do. I think if there's anyone near a cusp, big names get in.
I could see that.
Because you're telling
I
me –
think it might take year 3 to
You're
have
telling
these
me-
Iowa States get in type
100%,
shit.
100%. You're telling me like the New Year's Six Bowl, you don't want to see a Texas Oregon playoff game?
Yeah, no, you're right.
What's the viewership going to be on that?
You are right. Steve,
The only reason I asked you that question is I wanted to see you work through that.
No, it's
that was
fine.
perfect.
It's a great question. It's a great question.
Steve, tell me your playoff.
Okay.
He's counting.
I just got to make sure, right? Because I had some that were not on there.
Okay.
All right, I got Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, Iowa State, Clemson, BYU, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Boise.
You think Boise gets in?
We've already talked.
What does Boise have to do the rest of the season to
They have to win out.
manufacture
They have to
that
win
get
out.
into that?
They have to be 13-0.
They went out
With conference championship
Yep,
win.
with conference-
Can't lose conference championship.
They went out conference championship win. J&T is the Heisman winner. That's the only way.
Did I hear you say BYU?
Yes,
Yeah, I got BYU.
I got BYU as well.
I got BYU.
Tell me
Absolutely.
why you think BYU is intriguing.
I've loved their ability to win games, have the energy, have the atmosphere, and I think they have a path. They have a path where they can still beat some good credible teams, and I think they can win out.
Who's BYU got left? Let's look at it right now. They got Oklahoma State.
No, I looked at it earlier. It's not hard.
No, it's
Like,
all
those are
winnable.
all winnable
It's all
games.
winnable games.
I think one of my
Read them out loud. Like give the people what they want.
UCF, a 3-3 UCF,
Yeah.
a 4-2 Utah, which is a very credible win, a 1-5 Kansas, whatever.
wait. BYU plays Utah still.
Yeah,
Where's it at?
Hey, that's gonna be
it is at.
that's gonna be at Rice Ellis Stadium,
Hold on,
loudest stadium in the
at
Pac-12.
Utah.
Yeah, that's. I might have to change my pick. But
No,
they're not
I-
winning that.
That's
I mean, did you see what Arizona State just did to Utah?
I don't give a fuck.
Clear-
Utah at home.
Wait, time out.
Utah goes
hard. Hold on. Is Cam Rising's out?
Yeah.
Okay, it might be a different. It
listen.
might be a different game because Cam Rising.
Rising was not the
no,
same Cam Rising
no,
he was
no. That's what I'm saying.
4 years ago.
If Cam Rising was not, and
when he was a super freshman.
I'm
he's
not
the same.
I'm
okay?
not gonna lie. I love Cam Rising. We were actually on a magazine together. He's a cool dude.
Steve, shut the fuck up.
Can I get a cover of that? Can I get a cover of that?
I only got
You got
one.
an extra cover?
I only got one. You can take a picture.
Okay.
But no, like I was saying, Utah, I think, has played better without Cam Rising, and it hurts to say because he's a great quarterback. The injuries are sad. But then they play Kansas, who's not doing well, Arizona State, who's 5-1, and then they play Houston, who's 2-4. Any other? I mean,
I think BYU's path to stay where they're at. Okay, I think
Yeah.
right now they're ranked like 10, maybe 9. I'm not sure.
13.
13. Sorry, I'm off by a couple numbers. But
good.
if you go back and say, okay, I'm ranked 13 right now, I got a great record, and the only, don't get me wrong, college football is a week in, week out type of deal, right? But if I go look at a 1,000-foot view and I go, okay, rest of their schedule, I only got Utah that I have to worry about. You're going to tell me that a one loss, if say they lose that game, I think BYU still gets in.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think a 2-loss Ole Miss gets in over a 1-loss.
I agree. I agree. And this
Go
is
back to my point of
and this is
name brand teams get in. Ole Miss definitely takes that chance.
And see, here's the thing where college football is just changing as a whole because the 4-team playoff before was very easy for them to make the decision.
Correct, because you could just
But
Take who's undefeated.
But now you have cuss players. Do you take like a 9-3 team or a 12-2
Well,
team?
Comstock, what's the difference between
10-2.
What's the difference between a number 12 ranked team and a number 16 ranked team?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. So you're going to run into there's going to be that again those core teams that are up at the top, and then you're going to run into where are these college football committees and these, like I looked it up, right? You said what does it take to get a bid? It's conference championship no matter what.
Yeah.
It's strength of schedule. It's head-to-head matchups.
I
You're
wish
going to let a college football committee get into the room and start having conversations around like a 10, number 10 Ole Miss and a number 12 LSU.
Well, see,
You're going to leave them out of that college football playoff.
those things I wish I knew before I had made this list because those are great points. But one thing that I think is, like, we want to talk about like my risky picks. Honestly, one of my risky picks is Alabama.
I think so too.
They have a tough stretch. Their stretch here. They're playing. Who are they playing? They're playing Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Missouri.
It's Tennessee this weekend, right?
Tennessee, then Missouri, then Ole Miss. LSU. Excuse me.
I don't think Tennessee and Alabama both get in.
They can't.
No.
Okay.
And I left Georgia out. I left Georgia out too because they also have to play Texas. Which,
So much comes down to this. Honestly, Texas is kind of the bully in the room.
But I think
where
Texas
if you
they can destroy a lot of people.
Texas being at number 1 this late in the season, they could. Let's not say they could.
They could lose two,
But
and
they
they
could
can get
lose
in.
2 and still be a nationally ranked 9 and make them
And- yep.
and give themselves a better road in the college football playoff. I mean, 1 gives you a phenomenal chance, but
Okay, I'm gonna say my 12, and then let's go around the horn one more time and say our wild card
Cusp
picks.
guys.
Okay.
Yes.
I got Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I got Oregon. I got Penn State. I have Ohio State. I do have Georgia. I do have Miami. I do have Bama. I have Iowa State. I have Clemson. I do have BYU. I have Texas A&M, and I have Army. Okay, now that's my list. I would say, Frank, what's your logic? I look at Texas A&M's schedule ahead. They got Mississippi State, should be a win. LSU comes to A&M. I think A&M wins that. A&M goes to South Carolina. I think they win that. They play New Mexico State. I think they win that. They play a weak Auburn team. I think they win that. The last game of the season, Texas, the Longhorns, come at A&M. I don't know if you know this or not. My sister goes there. They hate each other.
Oh.
I think Texas A&M, though, hates Texas more than Texas hates Texas A&M. So it's kind of like, you know how we hate Boise?
Yeah.
But San Jose State hates us more than we hate
Way
San Jose
more than
State.
we hate San
like,
Jose
like
State.
we hate San Jose State.
Yeah, I don't like them.
No, I don't like them, but
they
I hate Boise.
hate
But I hate
us.
Boise, and they hate us.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a feeling, and Texas A&M is 5-1. Okay.
With the one loss being to a pretty decent team, I believe.
Yeah.
No, it was Notre Dame.
I mean,
Week 1 Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's a week
they
one
walked in
game.
the season.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, how we've
ranked
talked about.
high.
I don't
but
think it's.
But we've
it's
talked
not,
about this. We've
but it's
talked
not
about,
Notre Dame who lost to NIU.
No,
so I
Notre
think
Dame.
that's a valuable win.
And
I
one
think
thing
a
we've talked about.
10-2 A&M could sneak into the playoff.
Oh,
See, but-
1,000%.
But
Dude,
let's-
all you gotta do is be the third best SEC team.
One thing
Think about it.
one thing
5 at-large bids, or 7 at-large bid, 5 conference championships, which is really 4
Yeah.
conference champions.
Oh, I
because we
forget
only have 4
Texas is
power
in the
conferences.
fucking SEC.
All
so-
you gotta do is Texas A&M is be the third best SEC team, and knowing how we do college football, knowing how we do rankings, SEC teams get love.
Yeah, they do.
So I just want to go back to one thing you talked about: Notre Dame's law or Notre Dame beating Texas A&M. We've talked about this multiple times. Fresno State had a pretty decent game against Michigan in Week 1. A lot of people say that's due to it being Week 1 game. People don't know their identity, transfer portal. You don't know how good guys are going to do. People are getting their rhythm in, right? I think that has a big portion. I think early wins. Look at SC LSU, right? SC is irrelevant now, right? Like, I think that's another thing we got to think
Hey.
of when it comes to Texas A&M.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Nobody's
Doesn't
irrelevant.
matter. Doesn't matter.
No,
you got a
that's-
tattoo when you were 7 years
I
old.
don't
You got it
know.
when you were 70 years old. When you die, if you got that tattoo, you got the fucking tattoo.
What I'm saying is what my point. I'm agreeing with you, so you're just making your point less valid. I don't know. I've never seen that one.
Not helping your case.
Wow, it's okay. You're right. Texas A&M sucks, and they're not going to make it.
My big question
they
for
made it.
you two, though, is we're talking about college football playoff. We've been talked about what power conferences look like, whether that's an SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, whatever. Is the tide turning within the new conference realignment in terms of powerful schools within their conferences? We see right now you got a Big 10 that has 5 teams in the top 25. Big 12's got 3, SEC has 8, but only 2 of those are in the top 5. So they have 8 teams ranked, but only 2 of them are with like touching top 10. Is there a shift with all this conference realignment and all these conversations in terms of, are we going to be shocked on college football game day when they come out and give us these 12 teams who's going to be in our conference or in our bracket?
I think the wild card.
Or Big 10
Wait,
than
I
we
think
do
so.
SEC.
So
No, here's why. Because there's no more Pac-12. If you look at these top 5 teams right now, it's Texas, who's the Big 12.
Yep.
It's Oregon, who is the Pac-12. And then you got Big 10 at Penn State, Big 10 at Ohio State, and SEC. The highest ranked SEC team, old SEC, is Georgia right now.
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to go off the old school shit, that's actually a pretty decently spread out top 5.
Absolutely.
Now, you got rid of the pack and teams have moved around, so it kind of
convolutes it a little bit.
Jumbled some
Yep,
stuff,
yep.
right? I don't think it's necessarily gonna. Honestly, I hope they get rid of conferences. I know you can't. I know it's just we could go down a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah,
I made a joke the other day. I said like when you look at an old geography map, we used to call it Pangea, right?
Yeah.
Like Pangea was this giant land mass, and then it got split up into being what it is now. College football is post Pangea.
It
They
is.
want to get back to Pangea. They want to get back to having 70 football teams that are all ass kickers, that are all in the same umbrella, and we play more head-to-head matchups. We play like what we saw as a test this year, where we had week 4, we had a number 1 versus a number 4, and then like a 2 versus a 7.
And I think
they
that's
want more of that.
I think that's what's
Viewership, that's continuity within your programs. Like they want to see bigger games more often.
Yeah, people love watching NIU beat Notre Dame.
They love it.
People love what was the other big upset this year? They love watching Vanderbilt
Beat Alabama.
They love Georgia Tech taking out a top 5 team, Florida
We like watching
State.
Miami, Virginia Tech go to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Cal.
think college football is
Cal, Miami. Let's go.
surprisingly, as much as it's getting lopsided, where the bigger schools are getting the more money with the bigger recruits, I think there's not enough time to build a culture for people that are 18 to 22 years old to where anybody could beat anybody. Man.
Correct.
More than
One thing that
anytime ever.
College football is insightful. Okay, if you take 18 to 22-year-old kids and incite them to go do a riot, $10 they go do a riot.
I just
They're
can't
malleable minds. All right,
I can't wrap my head around that. Like these coaches are getting paid millions of dollars and they're relying on an 18 to 21-year-old
They're getting paid $1 million.
Yeah,
now.
no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, their livelihoods rely on some guys that are having some Red Wave light loggers on a Thursday before a Friday game, and
That's a bold move, Cobb.
I played some of my best games after having a couple cocktails throughout the week. I just want to let you know that.
hey,
Give
I
me
could
your
double down.
one, not in your top 12, dark horse wild card team to get in. Aaron, I'm starting with you.
You know I said earlier.
Show me the path. Show me the path.
You know I said earlier on the podcast. I'm gonna double down right now. It's freaking Arizona State, man.
Oh,
It's Bo Scatterbar running the ball downhill through people's faces. Okay. Antoine Sullivan used to tell me, how do you hit a dude? You hit him with your face. Okay. Okay. I'm talking Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham. The vibes are up. The energy's high. They are going to ride into the sunset off energy alone. Okay. Arizona's a party school. They want to party. They want opportunities to party. Give them a chance to get in the college football playoff. They scare some people.
Comstock.
I have two that I'm going back and forth between.
Pick one.
I'm gonna go with.
Say it with your chest,
I'm gonna
Comstock.
go with an Indiana.
Okay.
In Indiana, they have to play Michigan and Ohio State. I could see them if they beat Michigan, if they just outright dog Michigan and just beat them, right? And then they go against Ohio State, and let's just say it's a
Hold up. Are you saying Ohio State because they lost to Oregon? They're not a good football team? Because Iowa State has no chance.
no. But I'm saying if it's a 1-score game, and they put up a game, and they're a 1-loss team, right? Beating Indiana or beating Michigan and being 11-1, and being in a conference that you were just talking up.
Very true. You're making great points. You're making great.
I mean, I could see them, and we're talking about an outlier.
Ohio State, like
Right.
Ohio State is a perennial.
Oh, absolutely, and that's
nationwide.
he just asked for a controversial one. That's one that I could see people being like, I can't believe they got in. But if they go blow out Michigan and they have a game down to the wire against Ohio State, I would not be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
There wouldn't be another person more fired up if that comes true. If I'm sitting on my couch and like,
Hey, how about a first round Indiana versus Alabama?
Dog, if I'm seven
Talk about the storyline.
7 Red Wave loggers deep and like on a Saturday afternoon in November and Iowa State beats Ohio State, I have an IOU going your way. All right, I just want
No. I never said they would beat them. I said it would be if it's close. That's just the other one that I was going to say is maybe Pitt, and that one's even further away from happening.
Absolutely.
But
You don't think Pitt has a chance?
if they're 12-0, I mean, I can't see it. I don't know.
All right.
I can't
Frank,
see
give it to us. What you got?
Kirby Moore. Missouri. Let me tell you why. Okay. They're 5-1 right now. I think they already went through their low point. Now, here's what they got left.
Dude, they played freaking Massachusetts last week.
Yeah, they waxed them.
It's Massachusetts. I hope they would.
You know what? All you can do is play the schedule you're given.
Facts.
Okay?
They scheduled that themselves, though.
Fucking
Like 20 years
guess
ago.
what? When chicken's on sale at the store and it's not expired, I'll get that one. Okay? They play Auburn this week. I think they could beat them handily. Auburn is weak right now. Now, here's the kicker. They play at Bama. If they beat Bama, If they beat Alabama,
Hey,
Moore is fired.
Kirby Moore says, "Hello, old son."
You remember that time you taught me?
surprise, motherfucker!
Hey, you remember that one time he was talking shit?
What's
Guess
in the
what?
box?
I think they play Oklahoma, who Oklahoma has. It's the lowest I've seen Oklahoma in a long time.
I would agree with
Hurts
that.
to see.
No,
They
I
play
would agree with
South
that.
Carolina, who is not strong right now. They have a good D line.
I mean, that
They
you can
play-
never count on an SEC team. Let's
They
just get that
they
out.
play Mississippi State, and they play Arkansas.
Okay,
That is all those games. They should be favored to win and should execute. Besides Alabama, and you know what? If right now I'm looking at it, it's 19 versus 7. That's what the ranking matchup is. Missouri's 19, Alabama's 7. If Alabama loses this weekend at Tennessee, and Missouri beats Auburn and a few other teams lose, that very well could be a 14 versus 15 game.
okay.
sure,
So
for
so here's my thing, right? Oklahoma still has to play. Ole Miss. If Oklahoma beats Ole Miss, are they back?
I think Oklahoma looks bad, man. They got their ass kicked by Texas.
Okay.
They- they-
I'm
they
giving
lose
a
bad. I think
I think
hypothetical.
if there's a lot of 10-2 teams out there, I don't think Oklahoma makes the cut over under 10.
Okay, no.
You already had your opportunity to do hypotheticals.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm strengthening your point again, and you're shooting it down. So I don't know what you're doing.
Sorry, I like to shoot.
He's a little fired.
Ole Miss. Oklahoma beats Ole Miss, right? Now,
This isn't losing to them.
okay, I'm just giving a hypothetical.
Ole Miss is also on
I
the
mean,
fucking
we
floor.
also,
I don't
we,
know about that.
but we also said
The fact
that.
that of us saying Ole Miss just now is actually crazy.
I said Ole Miss.
Oh, they're in yours?
Yeah,
Yeah, Ole Miss is in mine.
Ole Miss in mine.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jackson Dart, hoodie on.
This guy has
in the
no
postseason
clue what he's
conference
talking
saying,
about.
We just got one out now. There's nothing more that I would want to see than Lane Kiffin coming at a sneaky 11 and have an opportunity to
Just to upset Oregon
would love
week
that.
2.
just hey,
Oh!
you're a number 2 Oregon. Guess
Surprise,
what?
surprise.
We're Ole Miss, and I'm Lane Kiffin, and I know how to coach ball.
Respect.
I mean, like there would
Oh.
be, and those powder blues, baby.
Hot.
With the gray pants?
So hot.
Ole Miss is the hardest I've ever been hit in my
With the
college
gray
football
pants?
career. Okay, I want to see them flying around banging on people.
Fellas, we got to wrap this up. Before we wrap it up, actually, we're just going to wrap it up right now. Great day. Great day. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Mitchell, Stratton Brown was here earlier, Stephen Comstock. If you haven't been to the Bring the Juice Tailgate Show, we highly recommend it. We're wearing these blackout for the dogs hats. They're extremely good looking. They will increase your attractiveness by at least 10 points. And to be honest, I'm just fired up that we got to have this opportunity to have a mid-season recap talk.
Check in.
Obviously, we're pulling for the dogs. Let's cut the shit. We're pulling for the dogs. You're saying there's a chance. There's so many
go.
hypotheticals out there. There's a lot of things that could happen. The right things got to go down, but we're pulling for the dogs. We are the first line of defense, the first soldiers to go toe-to-toe with all BS set aside. I don't care what the scenario are and how this looks. F it. These dogs could be a good football team if the boys lock arms together and want to win football games. But outside that, college football, hell of a wild freaking bull right now, man.
I couldn't have asked for a better
Cool.
like 8 weeks of college football.
I'm excited for the weekend. Be sure to come out October 26th to the Bring the Juice Tailgate Show. Wear your blackout for the dogs hat. We're going to be giving out complimentary Red Wave Light Lagers. They're hydrating as hell. And November 2nd, Die is Life. We're doing a collaboration with the Die is Life, hosting a 64-team tournament at the Frats. Check it out. The college game day set will be there. We're going to do all kinds of giveaways, shit ton of free beer, and the dogs take on Hawaii later that afternoon. We also have a few celebrity appearances coming that day. Definitely want to be out there. It's going to get rowdy. ROWDIE. That's the way we spell rowdy. Let's get after it. In conclusion, be sure to get your piss hot, stay fired up, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, follow us on the gram, follow all the boys on the gram, and we'll see you next week.